Yeah, we are live.
What's up?
Whoa, Wally's already here. He knows we're live. What's up, everybody? It's the WWE TLC post show. I'm Dave. You know me. This is my brother Ben.
Happy to be here.
He's happy to be here. We're happy because Asuka won. Just a couple of, nasty boys we are watching pro wrestling. That's what we're here for. We're the boys. We're the nasty boys. We're the Simon boys. And we're here to talk about WWE TLC with you. Send in your comments. Franco's in here. What's up, Franco? The Simon brothers in full effect. Got the nasty boy shirt rocking. He's got his Bret Hart shirt. We're ready for wrestling. We're always ready for professional wrestling. I'm hyped because Asuka is the new WWE Smackdown Women's Champion, and I was not expecting that to happen. Did anyone else expect Asuka to win? I predicted Charlotte was going to win the title. I thought we'd see Becky drop it. I still think Becky's going to win the Women's Rumble. I think we set that up tonight. However, I did not see Asuka coming out as SmackDown Women's Champion, and I wonder what the plan is going forward for Asuka now. Like, where does Asuka fit into the WWE's WrestleMania plans?
It's a very good question, because I believe that was one of the things you talked about with Johnny North. When you discussed the possibility of Asuka winning, is like, well, where does she factor into the plans with Ronda and Nia and Charlotte and Becky?
Right.
Well, maybe this whole superstar shakeup that Vince McMahon is planning tomorrow might answer some of those questions. Maybe
people
will be moved to Raw, and maybe a different challenger will approach Asuka on SmackDown, like a Mandy Rose or something.
Do you think some people will get moved?
I think so. I think that's when they say shake things up, that only tells me that's like a draft or trading superstars from one brand to the other, especially after all the Raw sucks talk that's been going on the past few weeks, and they need to inject some new blood into the red brand.
That's a solid point, and that's something that people have been talking about. And when you do say Johnny North, I'm getting a comment about Johnny North here, and it got me thinking about the big man. But when they see Vince McMahon gonna be on Raw to shake things up, you kind of wonder, like, what does that mean? Does it mean he's just going to replace Baron Corbin, who no longer has a job as GM, right? Corbin's not the GM anymore. Or does it mean, like, some roster shakeups and some moves? Bringing Becky and Charlotte to Raw would make a lot of sense. It would make Raw a lot more interesting, which is something that they need. And it would put a lot of your top female talent over on the Raw side with Ronda Rousey and Becky and Charlotte. And I think SmackDown would be able to survive with Asuka on top, Asuka Mandy Rose, Asuka Sonya Deville, Asuka Naomi maybe, Asuka Carmella, Peyton Royce. But I feel like Asuka's already ran through the Iconics, and most of the jabronis in that division, like the Mandy Roses and Sonya Devilles. Yeah. I know the WWE is trying to build Mandy. Like, is it possible we see Ronda, Becky, Charlotte triple threat at Mania, and then Mandy Rose versus Asuka in, like, the other match where everybody's pissed off because, like, Asuka has his title run till Mania and, Mandy beats her?
You could definitely see that happening.
It could happen, right?
You could set up, like, sort of like Asuka loses at WrestleMania, that kind of precedent. She dominates everywhere else, but when it comes to the big stage, someone always upstages her.
That would suck, though, right?
Yeah, but it's also plausible, and it feels like they might want to build some new stars. Like, they've added a lot of the new women have gone into SmackDown, and they haven't really had time to develop because Becky and Charlotte are there and take up so much of the spotlight. So, someone like Mandy or Sonya or the Iconics, they'll start winning some matches on SmackDown, and announcers will start saying, oh, I think they're a contender for the championship. And then there you go, they're legit.
That's true. With Becky and Charlotte on SmackDown, there is kind of that glass ceiling. Like, you can't go above the Becky and Charlotte and now Asuka level because they're just up here and everybody else is down there. But if they do go to Raw, it would give Ronda some real competition because we saw Ronda tonight. I thought that the TLC pay-per-view was really good. What are we giving it on 10? I want to know your comments over on YouTube. Let me know your comments as far as A 1 to 10 scale, WWE TLC. I thought the show was really good. Ronda's match was good. For me, Becky, Charlotte, Asuka, the main event. The triple threat ladder match was the match of the night. I don't know if anybody else has another match of the night. I think Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles was fantastic. I'm giving it a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10. This pay-per-view was good top to bottom. The only weak spot was, of course, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Not a good match for the Intercontinental Championship, which Ambrose won. Ambrose is now the new Intercontinental Champion. And, you know, that's a bad sign for the WWE when your top guys on Raw, your two top talents that you're pushing more than anybody else on Monday Night Raw, they're delivering the worst match on a show that was otherwise very solid.
Yeah, that was a definitely dead spot in the card. Like, the crowd was just not into it. We were talking about, like, Seth Rollins was not able to get the crowd on his side as much as he was trying to, like, build up that fire, which then the next match, Becky Lynch did effortlessly.
Yeah, well, that's
really spoke to the power of, like, those two superstars.
That's something we were talking about while we were watching the show, and that's something I talked about on Wrestling Uncensored just this week, how, you know, Seth Rollins is a good wrestler. You can't really say he's bad. He's very athletic. He does nice moves. He's very smooth and solid in the ring. He doesn't make you feel, though. There's no emotion with Seth Rollins, and I think it's just a lack of charisma. I think Seth is one of the least charismatic guys that they have, and they're trying to push him like a big star, and it's just not working because he doesn't make you feel in his matches. Athletically, he's doing things correctly, but feel-wise, emotion-wise, he does not connect. And I think that was a major problem here. There's supposed to be real heat and hatred between Dean and Seth, but I did not feel the tension.
I just felt the fatigue. Like, we've just seen this before.
And the crowd was chanting, "This is boring." Yeah. The crowd was not into the match. The comments that I was getting on Twitter, at Dave Simon MMA, by the way, the Twitter comments were not positive about this match. It was pretty much unanimous that this was the worst match on the card. And again, when you have Seth and Dean, supposed to be your top guys on Raw, and they're giving you the worst match on an otherwise very good card, not good. You know, maybe you need to rethink Seth and Dean. I think even Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor was better than this.
It wasn't very good.
And that wasn't great.
I just remembered that happened. I just thought Finn Balor's contribution was him showing up during the Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
I completely forgot he had an actual match.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought the card was really good. I thought maybe we had a couple classic matches, you know. I think that the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match is one that we're going to want to go back and revisit because it was so good. I would watch that again. I'd watch it again right now. And the TLC match, Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky, I'd watch that again right now. I could see myself watching that again numerous times in the future. Those were two excellent matches. The rest of the card was solid, but not exceptional. So I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought we had some good matches. I thought we had a couple amazing matches. And the rest was pretty good. You know, I didn't think there was anything that was like, oh, that was awful. I didn't see anything terrible. But I didn't see much other than, you know, the Bryan AJ and the triple threat ladder match that was out of this world that I'll remember forever. I liked Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, though. The finish to that match was fantastic. The roll-up that Rey did on Randy to get the victory, very nice. And I like the fact that, you know, Daniel Bryan won clean tonight. Very good match with AJ Styles. If it were not for the Asuka Charlotte Becky match, Bryan and AJ would be match of the night. And they're going to give them a run for their money. I wouldn't be surprised to see some people pick that as match of the night. It was very, very good. But with Rey winning and Daniel Bryan winning, we do set up a potential Royal Rumble main event for the WWE Championship between those two. Daniel Bryan defending against Rey Mysterio. How sweet would that be? And you saw Daniel Bryan taking on Cruiserweight Mustafa Ali this week. And now he's taking on AJ Styles. I think Daniel Bryan against smaller guys makes him a better heel. Daniel Bryan against bigger guys, it's hard not to think of him as the underdog because he's smaller than a lot of the roster. But a guy like Rey Mysterio, Bryan can bully him, be a bad guy, and not be the underdog like he would be against many of his other potential opponents, because Bryan is not that big and everybody else is so much bigger in the WWE, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
And who doesn't want to see Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan for the WWE title? Rey showed tonight he still got it.
Yeah.
And that chair dive he did where he flew out of the ring and landed on Randy with the chair, amazing. The move that he did to pin Randy finally in the end, amazing. Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's, I'd put him in my top 10 favorite wrestlers ever. And he still got it. So put him in there with Daniel Bryan. Now's the time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble, baby. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Daniel Bryan versus Rey Mysterio. And then the Rumble matches. I mean,
what else is there?
It books itself. It's pretty damn solid. Already, it's good. Braun Strowman, he had his arm in a sling tonight, as we all saw. And then he had a bunch of the Raw baby faces come out and help him beat Baron Corbin because he couldn't do it. Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, Finn Balor, Apollo Crews. Who else? Was that it?
I think that was it.
That was it. They all came with chairs. They beat up on Baron Corbin, which my partner Johnny North astutely mentioned, like, why are all the baby faces beating up on the heel? Oh yeah, Kurt Angle was there too. Thanks, Antoinette.
It's a comeuppance kind of thing. Like, usually they kind of save that for like a Raw segment or even like maybe like a Mania even kind of thing, when like this heel who's been making everyone mad finally gets his comeuppance. He walks into one direction, gets punched, and he goes in the other corner and gets like punched. It's like
Vince against the whole Hart family at WrestleMania 20 whatever.
Or when Eric Bischoff got fired from Raw, they made a whole thing out of it and he got like FU'd into like a dump truck and it's like a big ceremony kind of. They like doing that kind of like the heel finally, all the people he's tormented get their shot at him.
Yeah.
They like that.
Yeah, so they did that tonight, and now Corbin is gone. He's no longer the GM. Maybe they have something up their sleeve. Johnny and I both expected Braun Strowman to win this match because, he's headed towards that match at the Rumble against Brock Lesnar for the title, so he had to win this because that was part of the stipulation. And I think the WWE is pretty sick of Baron Corbin as the GM. They need somebody, and I think with Raw being as weak as it is, they need somebody that's going to pop the rating. They need somebody that's going to bring interest into the show. Kurt Angle isn't the guy. Mick Foley, JBL, one of those guys that you kind of bring in and rehash. That's not going to cut the mustard. Stone Cold Steve Austin, to me, would be the best option because he can talk. Everybody loves seeing him. If you say Stone Cold's going to be on Raw, you're going to have bigger ratings because he's a legend in the business. Stone Cold is money. He's guaranteed money. He's a great general manager. He's a guy that the heels can't push around. Like Kurt Angle, he's vulnerable. Like when heels get in on Kurt Angle, you're like, uh-oh, Kurt Angle, he's going to be in trouble. If it were Hulk Hogan or Mick Foley, like you're kind of scared for their safety. With Austin, when a heel like gets in Austin's face, you're like, watch out, heel. Austin's about to open a can of whoop ass and stun you, Yeah. Like there's never any fear for Steve Austin. You never feel like you should feel sympathetic for Stone Cold because he's weak. Because he's never weak. Because he's been booked very strong. And that stunner still sells. So you have a GM who's not a full-time wrestler, but he can talk his ass off. He is still dangerous and a threat. And he's a goddamn legend in the business, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So for me, if old Rattlesnake wants to do it, I would get Stone Cold. I think he's the best option. Whether or not he wants to do it, we don't know. And whether or not the WWE wants to offer him enough money, that's another question. But for me, if I were booking WWE and they said, who could we get to make this a better show, Stone Cold Steve Austin would be that guy, without a doubt. I can't think of anybody in professional wrestling that you could get that would be better.
Yeah, and as consistent a draw, it's kind of hard to think. There'd be a few guys where it's like if they came back for one night, you'd be like, oh, hey, I don't know, Edge is back, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't sustain.
Every week, I don't think Edge, I think our buddy... somebody on Twitter, it might have been Rob Clue, said Edge and Christian should be the Raw GMs.
Not bad.
It's not bad, but like they'd be funny, they'd be entertaining, but I wouldn't be bad. Edge and Christian together, I think they're a good duo. Wouldn't be a bad move, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily a ratings.
I feel like Austin. No, Rob says it wasn't him. Maybe it was JC. I don't know. It was somebody on Twitter this week that said Edge and Christian, they'd be good Raw GMs, and I said, yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad, because I'd be entertained by them. I don't know if they're big jumps to the ratings like Stone Cold might be.
I'd bring back Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff will be good too.
I'd love to see Eric Bischoff back. He could still go. He's still smarmy. Like I saw that TED Talk he did or some sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
But like, you know, like he was kind of like cutting a heel promo, and I was kind of sitting there and be like, I wish someone would beat him up. It brought back all those feelings.
Yeah, Bischoff still can get heat. People still don't like Eric Bischoff. You know. I see Rob saying Flair might be an option. I don't think Flair's health would allow him to be on the road once a week, every week. He's just not 100% healthy to do that. I wouldn't want him to do that. He's a great talker, but I don't think it would work.
And a lot of the guys who you'd really want like aren't feasible. Like The Rock couldn't do it.
Yeah, The Rock's
John Cena's not going to do it.
The Rock, John Cena, they're not going to do it.
Undertaker as like American Badass or something like that. You know. Like,
yeah, I mentioned Jon Stewart. He would be fantastic. You know, if they could get Jon Stewart, how crazy would that be, right? Like, he's a WWE fan. I think he was that tribute to the troops. Could you imagine Jon Stewart as a Raw GM? That would pop the rating.
I like him as the head writer for Raw.
He's good. Yeah, he'd help the product, no doubt. He's a smart man with a good comedy mind, and he's a big wrestling fan. Like, I like that they use Jon Stewart as much as they can. He's been good in the past for them. If there's a shot in hell, like I don't think there is, but hey man,
why not?
Give him a call and see if he's interested.
Maybe he's not that expensive.
Maybe he wants to do it. You know, you never know. I'm just throwing it out there like he's a guy kind of in the WWE universe. He's an entertaining guy. You know he can host successful shows. You want to help Monday Night Raw. How about Jon Stewart as the host?
Yeah.
Jon Stewart presents Monday Night Raw every week. That'd be pretty good.
Kevin Hart's looking for a hosting gig now.
Kevin Hart. Yeah, he can't host the Oscars. Host Monday Night Raw.
The Slammies.
Kevin Hart was excellent when he was on Raw. He made one appearance on Raw a few years back.
So good.
So good.
He was on commentary.
He was on commentary, and like
he did like a dance too. They did like a little dance off with like Layla and what's her name, Summer Rae.
Yeah.
And he was just doing this like dance. He had like this sweater. Like I remember it so clearly because it was great.
Kevin Hart was very good on commentary, and I remember Layla came out, and Kevin Hart went, "Oh my goodness!" And then she did something, and he was like, "Oh my goodness!" And you could tell he was really feeling it. It was really good. Kevin Hart in pro wrestling, like it works, but
also bring back Layla.
You know, Kevin Hart's pretty busy, and so is Jon Stewart. Like they're big stars. I doubt that they would do it, but like, hey, if you would have told me a couple years ago that Ronda Rousey would be the Raw Women's Champion on Raw every single week, wrestling very often, wrestling more often than Brock Lesnar, I would have said, yeah, right. But look at where Ronda Rousey is right now. It's pretty incredible how often we see Ronda. So, you know, why not, man? Shoot for the stars, WWE. Yeah, your classic Americana. That's what everybody wants to see. So go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, break the bank.
It would be fun. All right, so I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 WWE TLC. What do you give it?
I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I had a really good time. One match you haven't really mentioned that I really got a kick out of was Natalya and Ruby Riott.
Yes.
I thought that was a very entertaining match. I liked how Natty just took care of the Riott Squad. She didn't need Bayley or Sasha to come get her back. She took on all three of them. She looked strong. She was stiffing them.
Natty beat up all the Riott Squad and then put Ruby Riott through a table and won her match. I was like, hell yeah, Natty.
I'd love for her to get involved in the whole Charlotte Ronda business, you know, like make it a fatal four-way or something. Like that match made her more of a contender tonight.
That match made Natty look super legit, and I'm a huge Natty fan. I love Natty. I love the Hart family. I love everything about Hart family wrestling. Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time. So I'm always going to have a soft spot for Natty Neidhart. I'm always going to have a soft spot for Teddy Hart, for TJ Wilson, for Harry Smith, for anybody associated with the Hart family. I know Brian Pillman Jr. is out there teaming with Teddy Hart. And I have a soft spot for him. I'd love to see Brian Pillman Jr. in the WWE, Teddy Hart in the WWE. I love the Harts, and I love to see them in big spots doing well. So you're always going to see me rooting for Natty Neidhart. Without a doubt, you know, she is the future and current of the Hart family dynasty in professional wrestling, which is one of the greatest dynasties this business has ever seen. They have produced the greatest professional wrestlers this business has ever seen. You know, I don't need to run down the list, but I will. Bret Hart, Dynamite Kid, British Bulldog, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Owen Hart. There would be none of these guys without the great Stu Hart, without the Dungeon, without Calgary. That company, that area, that family produced the greatest wrestlers in the history of this business. And Natty is one of them, and I love her so much. So, there it is. Hearts forever. Hart family.
Especially Liv Morgan's bump.
Liv Morgan's bump through the table was vicious. Liv Morgan takes beatings. I got mad respect for Liv Morgan. She's my favorite Riot Squatter. By far.
I think Sarah Logan's pretty good.
Sarah Logan's alright. I'm not a huge fan of Ruby. Like, she's okay, but, like, Liv Morgan, she is super tough. She took those kicks to the face by Brie Bella and wanted to keep wrestling. She took that stiff table spear there tonight, stiffer than anything Ruby took. Although it was a very good match.
Mm-hmm. The powerbomb looked pretty nasty.
Yeah, the powerbomb was really good. The top rope powerbomb that Natty hit Ruby with through the table to finish the match, very nice. Excellent. Natty is great. Queen of Hearts and queen of the women's tables matches. She was in the first ever one with Beth Phoenix against Lay Cool. And now here she is again defeating Ruby Riott.
Undefeated.
Undefeated in tables matches, Natty Neidhart.
She's like Bianca Belair in NXT. Undefeated. That's her catchphrase.
Oh, is it?
Because I'm undefeated.
Is she? She's undefeated?
I think so. Well, she said so.
I like her.
Yeah.
I like her. So you gave it an 8.5. I gave it a 7.5. Antoinette gives it an 8. Rob Kloos gives it a 6.5. Wally Byrne gives it an 8. JJ Mondesi gives it a 7 out of 10. Pretty much almost entirely on Asuka taking the title. Wally says Renee talking about Dean Ambrose is so awkward. It was a little bit weird on commentary, although I think she handled it better tonight than she had on Raw in the past.
I liked it. I like that she was sticking up for Dean. Like, she'll go for all the baby faces, but then, like, her husband, you know, she really showed the real emotion there. She kind of, like, blew up at Corey Graves at one point. She's like, you know, you weren't there when he was, like, nursing his staph infection, how hard it was. It was nice to see, like, the real emotion from Renee.
It was nice to hear her talk about Dean Ambrose like he's actually her husband and not some crazy guy that she kind of knows. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like, yeah, I live with him. Oh, you do?
Do tell.
So you're married and you live together? What a novel concept, Renee. Rob Kloos says, final battle blew this out of the water. Yeah, like, of course it did. You know, Ring of Honor had their big show on Friday night, Final Battle, and it was incredible. Hangman Page and Jeff Cobb killed it. I really thought that Jonathan Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. match was very special. ZSJ is one of my favorite guys. Great submission wrestler, real technical stuff. I didn't know much about Jonathan Gresham, but he's kind of like a similar style to Zack Sabre Jr. So they wrestled a very like scientific wrestling match. It was pretty sweet. And then, of course, the triple threat ladder war in the main event. Unbelievable. The Young Bucks, the what do you call it? The Briscoes. And then SCU, Scorpio, and Kazarian. I thought that match was incredible. And I told Johnny North on Dave and Johnny Live on Friday, and I know a lot of you were there with us Friday. I said, look, man, that ladder match, a triple threat ladder match with the Bucks, the Briscoes, and SCU will be the best ladder match of the weekend. No matter what they do at TLC, that match will be the best ladder match of the weekend. And it was. You know, TLC was very good. They had some good ladder matches. Even Elias and Bobby Lashley on the pre-show. Elias winning the match by grabbing the guitar. Didn't need to hit him with it. Just grabbed the guitar and won. But the match was decent, you know. And the TLC tonight between Asuka and Charlotte and Becky was very, very good. But I still think that final battle ladder war that we saw on Friday night was better. But, you know, it was bound to be. The in-ring content outside of the WWE is better right now. There are better wrestling matches going on outside of the WWE than in the WWE. Not to say WWE is entirely bad. It's just not as good as a lot of the stuff that's going on outside of the company right now. I know that the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, had an incredible match with Will Ospreay and Hiroshi Tanahashi, a tag match on the weekend. That was, I think, yesterday morning or late last night. I still haven't seen it, but I've heard it was incredible. There's just great wrestling happening all over the place. And if you're not paying attention, you know, you're definitely missing out on some great wrestling. If you're frustrated by the WWE product, there are always alternatives. But it's hard to compare. You know, they work different schedules, they work different styles, it's different companies. It's hard to compare Ring of Honor to Lucha Underground, to New Japan, to the WWE, to Impact Wrestling. Every wrestling company has the things that they do well and the things that they do not so well. And, you know, in Ring of Honor, some of the things that they do well are, you know, wrestling matches. In WWE, some of the things that they do well, you know, production value, replays, camera angles, pyro, the look of the show. It's very clean. It's very well produced. Some would say overproduced. But in some of these other wrestling companies, you get a more raw wrestling product where the wrestlers are allowed to take more risks and do what they want to do a little bit more than in the WWE where they're more confined. You know, it's hard to compare. But everybody likes to compare because it is all pro wrestling, right? And everybody's going to like whatever they like. I enjoyed Final Battle, and I enjoyed TLC, and I'll enjoy Wrestle Kingdom. I like pro wrestling.
As do I.
You know, we had great pro wrestling all weekend, and I think that's what we should really be celebrating. The great art of professional wrestling. Final Battle was great. New Japan did a great show this weekend, and WWE kicked ass too. I'm happy.
Good for the business.
It's great for the business, brother. Rob says 6.5 for lazy booking. That's what he gives this show. I don't know. I think you're being a little too harsh here, Rob. When will AJ Styles regain that WWE Championship? Lawazi Masane wants to know. I don't know if he ever will. I don't know. I think AJ had a great run as WWE champion. I think now we can look back at AJ as one of the great WWE champions in the history of the company. He had a great run over a year with the title. Very, very good. But he's 40-something years old. I think Daniel Bryan's going to have a nice lengthy run with it. We saw AJ lose clean to Daniel Bryan again tonight. I think the feud between them is probably over. I'd be surprised to see them wrestle again at the Rumble. So, I don't know if we ever see AJ Styles win the WWE title back, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. He had a good run. He's been a great champion. Let's move on. Like I said, I think Daniel Bryan should be WWE champion for the next 5 years at least. Give Daniel Bryan the WWE title till he retires. He's that damn good. If you caught his promo on, I think it was WWE Now. It's on their YouTube show. You can go check out the WWE Now show. It's like 25 minutes in. Daniel Bryan cut this promo about sweaters and how the WWE sells too many t-shirts and how it's non-organic cotton that they use and how he only wears stuff that's from thrift shops and recycled clothing, and he says he's going to replace the leather made from a cow on the WWE title with something that's sustainable. He's going to change the strap on the belt. Like, Daniel Bryan cut a very interesting promo telling people basically not to buy his new t-shirt, which is a very bold move by a professional wrestler. Daniel Bryan is changing what a WWE champion is. His wrestling is incredible. He had a great match with AJ, and his promos are just, they're groundbreaking. And if you can't see that, well, you'll catch on eventually. And if you are watching and you are paying attention, you know what Daniel Bryan is doing is not something that is ordinary in professional wrestling. You've never seen a WWE champion talk about things the way Daniel Bryan is, talk about the things that Daniel Bryan is talking about, the environment. He's an environmentalist gimmick as a heel WWE champion, which is bizarre, unique, and, you know, never ever seen before. Daniel Bryan is the man. He should be champion forever.
Yeah, it was a great promo, and it's just something that we don't often see in WWE, which is just character direction, just him stating, you know, what he believes, you know, just different elements, and he's gonna change the belt, just extra layers of character, which is really needed in WWE. Like Seth Rollins could use stuff like that, you know, he needs that material, or he just, I don't know, like.
But he doesn't have it because that material isn't coming from a writer. That material is coming from Daniel Bryan. That is Bryan Danielson. That's not a character. That's not a writer. That's Bryan Danielson coming up with that stuff because he really feels it. That's who he is. This new Daniel Bryan character is the real Daniel Bryan, the real Bryan Danielson, with the volume turned all the way up. And those are the best wrestling characters when it's yourself with the volume turned all the way up. The yes movement, the sweet babyface Daniel Bryan, there's an element of that to him, but the real guy is what you're seeing right now. That's Daniel Bryan. And I don't think that he's a bad guy for saying any of the stuff he's saying. You know, I think the environment is important. Who doesn't want to keep our planet safe? But a lot of people think what Daniel Bryan is saying is stupid and he should shut up and whatever. And that's okay. But I like what Daniel Bryan's saying, and I think it's changing the perspective of what a champion in WWE could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I like the word you said, groundbreaking. Definitely. Just, yeah, like even CM Punk, when he was cutting promos, you know.
He was wearing his t-shirt. He was
wearing that ugly yellow GTS t-shirt, you know, and stuff like that.
That's it. CM Punk was still corporate. Bryan is saying, I don't want, he said something about corporate greed. Like, it's just about corporate greed, and I don't want to contribute to consumerism. He wants to kill consumerism. He's working for the WWE, which is all about buying the t-shirt, consuming, and Daniel Bryan is telling you not to consume. Death to consumerism. That's not something that a pro wrestler has ever said.
No. Usually they're very just like,
they're
America,
like, okay,
number one business.
Buy the gimmick. Buy the gimmick. There's a gimmick stand. Pro wrestlers all go and, like, you know, sell their t-shirts, sell the autograph pictures. They're all there trying to hawk their stuff. Bryan is saying, don't buy anything. Stop buying stuff. He's telling you to stop buying stuff. That's how they make their money. It's crazy. It's not only crazy that he's saying it, it's crazy that WWE is allowing him to say it. It's almost like they don't get it, or that because he's a heel, he's a bad guy saying these things, so it's okay. But it's almost shocking that Bryan is able to get away with some of the stuff he's saying.
I mean, in America,
good for him.
Though, America does have a lot of, like, business is a very important thing in America, like the American dream kind of idea. You know, you work hard enough, you could own your own business. So here's this guy saying, no, it's bad, it's bad. So, like, the audience is already kind of conditioned in that way. Because America's a very kind of pro-business sort of country. Everything is about, you know, working hard and,
well, it's like I said, there's even the CM Punk gimmick. You know, when CM Punk was that kind of heel, straight edge, whatever, he was still selling his merch, you know,
it every week.
And every WWE champion, and that's been my problem with a lot of these WWE guys lately, is that they all wear their own shirts, and it's just like kind of hokey, you know. It's not cool to wear your own shirt.
Stone Cold wears his own shirts.
Stone Cold would wear his own shirts.
Rock wears shirts sometimes.
That was different though, you know. When everybody wears their own shirt, everybody kind of starts looking the same. And when Bryan is taking a stand and saying, I'm not going to wear my own shirt, it's cool. Yeah. It's cool. It's different. And
Counterculture.
his match tonight was fantastic with AJ Styles. Does anybody think it was match of the night? My match of the night, Asuka, Charlotte, Becky. Incredible to see Asuka win the women's title. I'm not sure where she goes from here. But I think that was the match of the night. Anybody think it wasn't? Over on the YouTube comments. We have a question here from the YouTube comments. In their prime, who wins? Dudley Boys versus Hardy Boys versus Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers in a TLC with tag team titles on the line. Oh my God.
What about Edge and Christian? They always won those matches.
Yeah, Edge and Christian win. Edge and Christian sneak in. They're not in the match. They sneak in. They grab the belts and they win. Okay?
That's my prediction.
That's how it works. ENC connection
you think
win.
You know me.
Yeah, you think you know the outcome. Just when you think you have all the answers, we change the question. And we also changed the match. Edge and Christian are in it. Rob thinks Golden Lovers would win. They wouldn't. Edge and Christian would win. Probably the Dudleys, though. I mean, Bubba Dudley is still going. He's still going. He had a match at Final Battle with Flip Gordon that was awesome. Awesome. Bubba Dudley still going. Still getting plenty of heat. Plenty.
Good for him, Bully Ray.
Yeah, he's great. He's a legend of the game.
Still Bully Ray?
Yeah, he's Bully Ray in Ring of Honor. He's awesome. All right, we've been going on for a while here. Anybody got anything else? Let's run down this card. I don't think we hit all the matches. Buddy Murphy on the pre-show defeated Cedric Alexander to retain the Cruiserweight title. You know, it's a decent match, but we've seen it, I feel like, a million times now. Elias beat Bobby Lashley in the ladder match. The Fabulous Truth beat Mahalisha, so Carmella and R-Truth win the Mixed Match Challenge, and they will be the 30th entrant in their respective Royal Rumble. So Truth will come out 30th in the Men's Rumble if he doesn't get confused and come out in a Women's Rumble. You know, Truth, he's crazy, you never know. And Carmella has the 30th spot in the Women's Rumble. I had a great idea for the Rumble during TLC. I think Santino Marella should be in the Men's Rumble and do decently. And then Santina should be in the Women's Rumble and get her ass kicked. I think it would be funny. Funny spot. You know, I'm just saying, I'm a big Santino fan. I'm always trying to advocate for him being in things.
And they always like to bring in old-timers.
Yeah.
Do a spot in a match, you know. So, you bring an old-timer and do a spot in 2 different matches.
Yeah.
And it's, a little carryover.
So
and also, just bring back Santino Marella on TV. I miss that man.
I love Santino so much.
I miss the music. I miss the walk. I miss the accents. I miss the Cobra.
Yeah.
I miss the whole thing.
I miss the splits that he would do to avoid the clothesline. You know what I mean?
And
he was like, ah! Yeah, it was so good. So good. Santino killed me. Oh, yeah.
And he did a little salute.
Oh, yeah, the speed walk and then the salute head drop there.
Classic.
Beautiful.
So inventive. No one's done it before. No one's done it since.
I miss that guy so
Hall
much.
of Famer.
I miss him so much. People want to know what we expect from Vince McMahon tomorrow. It's really hard to predict.
I expect him to say something along the lines of like, I tell you people what you want, or something like that. If I can do a Vince McMahon impression here. I know it's your kind of thing.
I like that you're doing it. I'll tell you what you want. You want me and my daughter, Stephanie. I'm putting Stephanie back in charge of Raw. I'm righting the ship. Here comes Triple H. I'm coming to... I mean, honestly, I wouldn't put it past the McMahons to put themselves back on TV. They love putting themselves out there. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what Vince is going to do. My guess is as good as yours. I think he'll probably announce a new GM. Who that will be, again, my guess is as good as yours. It'll probably be something boring like Kurt Angle or Alexa Bliss again. If they want to shoot for the stars, they'd go Jon Stewart, John Cena, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, somebody like that. Probably not, though. And as far as a superstar shakeup, I'd be surprised if they did a whole shakeup with a bunch of people moving around. But I could see maybe, 5 to 10 wrestlers going from one brand to another. Raw needs it.
Yeah.
Raw needs more talent. SmackDown is over-talented. It's only 2 hours. Raw has nothing over 3 hours. Send Becky and Charlotte over to Raw. Send Nia Jax over to SmackDown. Or maybe keep Nia on SmackDown. Send somebody.
Bayley and Sasha to SmackDown.
Send Bayley and Sasha to SmackDown.
So they can get get their characters back. And
get them maybe in a feud with Asuka or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe send nobody to SmackDown and just bring some talent to Raw. Because really, SmackDown's good for talent. Raw is the brand that needs talent. So maybe Vince just brings Becky and Charlotte to Raw. I don't know.
That's the announcement. I'm bringing Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I don't know. Baron Corbin, you're fired from Raw and you're banished to SmackDown?
What, yay?
I mean, I don't know.
Drew McIntyre, I think you're the chosen one again.
Finn Balor is supposed to wrestle Dolph Ziggler on Raw tomorrow night for some reason. Finn Balor was doing a promo. So Dolph Ziggler helped Finn Balor beat Drew McIntyre. And I've been getting the feedback. People like my Drew McIntyre impression, so I'm going to keep that going. Drew McIntyre. I lost me match to Finn Balor. I'm Drew and I lost. You're gonna get hit with the... What's that kick he does?
Claymore.
The Claymore.
Explosive or something.
Drew. He sucks. Terrible.
Yeah.
Awful match. So Finn beat him, but he got help from Dolph, and then Dolph wanted credit for him, and then Finn was like, eh, and then they fought. So now they're gonna wrestle. Maybe Dolph, Drew, and Finn will have some sort of triple threat at something, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Rob says I get too much pleasure from the Triple H impression. I don't actually. I get my pleasure from the Vince impression. Oh, I just feel so sexual when I do it.
Yeah, Triple H is more for goofing off and stuff.
Yeah, Vince is when it gets sensual. Oh, come here, Sable.
Big Daddy Friss.
Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Look at the musculature. Oh, boy. He says that Drew sounds like Triple H drunk with a Scottish accent. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I like the Braun Strowman one, too. My favorite is a Teddy Long, but I don't get to do it as much because Teddy Long's not around anymore. He's not around anymore, player. Holla, holla. I wish we could still have a tag team match, player. My partner would be The Big Show. Teddy Long. I miss you, Teddy. We all miss Teddy. All right. Let's continue running down this card and finish this sucker up. The Bar beating the New Day and the Usos. I thought that match was really good. Maybe not as good as we expected it to be, but I thought it was good.
It was okay.
Natty and Ruby Riott, we talked about. Natty winning in the tables match. Very good stuff. Finn beating Drew in about 12 minutes. Rey and Randy in the chairs match. Excellent match with Randy winning there. Ronda Rousey.
Rey won.
With Rey, winning. Very, very good match. Ronda Rousey beating Nia, who had Tamina in her corner. Ronda winning that match. I thought the match was good. I didn't think it was as good as their first match, but it was close. I thought it was a good, solid 10-minute match. Ronda did a really nice crossbody from the top rope to the outside of the ring on Nia. She continues to improve and impress me. I'm a fan of Ronda Rousey. I think she's a natural talent in the business, and she's doing better and better every single match she steps out there, and that's a good sign for the future.
She was also able, because the last time she was on a pay-per-view, she was booed out of the building. Because, was that the last time? After the Becky Lynch stuff, and after she wrestled Charlotte, and she was kind of trying to get the sympathy after Charlotte attacked her, and she was getting
booed. People liked that Charlotte attacked her.
Yeah, people were still associating her with the negativity, but now she's been able to kind of shake that off, and she's getting cheered again. Nobody, they weren't booing both of them in the match. They were clearly cheering for Ronda.
Yeah, Ronda was a babyface tonight.
So she's been able to kind of, get them back on her side.
And she just beats Nia.
It's not easy to do.
I thought Nia might win, She just beats Nia. Nia was running, rolling pretty good. She had the whole face breaker gimmick with Becky Lynch after doing that, and I thought they might try to push Nia and do more with her. Becky got a little bit of comeback on Nia after the match. Becky was backstage and she punched Nia. I don't know if that's going to be all the revenge that we see from Becky, but it might be, because now Becky and Charlotte will both want revenge on Ronda Rousey, who cost them the match tonight in the main event, cost them the title. When Becky and Charlotte were on the top of the ladder, here comes Ronda and knocks them both off, which allowed Asuka to climb the ladder when they were both down and win the SmackDown Women's titles. So, Becky may be focused on Ronda, and the Nia Jax thing may be over and done with, and Nia may be shot back down the card and really not featured prominently, which I'm a bit surprised by, because I thought WWE had plans for her. Not that they should reward her for what she did to Becky, but at the same time, she's had some very good matches with Ronda Rousey. Yeah. She's a good opponent for Ronda, and Ronda's your top star. So, Nia's done some bad things, but she's also somebody that you might need going forward, and she's done some good work too. You gotta give it to Nia Jax. She had a good match tonight with Ronda Rousey again.
I could see herself inserting it if Becky and Charlotte have their beef with Ronda. I could see Nia inserting herself into that kind of seamlessly.
Maybe even a 4-way at WrestleMania.
She just needs to attack them. They'll have a promo, and then Nia just brutalizes them at the end of Raw, and then there you go, she's in.
You think maybe a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania?
Why not?
They all could have beef with each other. It's not bad. What we're seeing here, some comments. Rob says Nia's awful on the mic and dangerous in the ring. Can't argue with that, but she had a good match tonight. Do we think... Luwazi Masane says, do you think Braun Strowman will be able to beat Brock Lesnar at the Rumble for the Universal title?
Nope.
No.
It's going to be another squash.
Definitely not. There's no way that Brock is champion right now so that he can lose it at the Rumble to Braun Strowman. Brock is champion right now so that he can hold it until WrestleMania and have a good, big, high-profile match, probably against Seth Rollins. My assumption right now, Seth dropped the Intercontinental title tonight, so I think our guess is pretty damn good.
He's on the road to WrestleMania.
Seth Rollins will win the 2019 Royal Rumble, and he will go on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. I can pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is winning the Rumble, right? Seth is winning the Rumble.
Yeah, I don't really see who else right now.
Seth is winning the Rumble, without a doubt.
That momentum.
Seth is winning that Rumble, and he's going to wrestle Brock at Mania, and he'll probably beat him. I think Seth is going to be the champion in 2019. I think Seth will beat Brock at WrestleMania, and I think Seth will be the guy to win the Rumble.
Maybe with some help from his buddy Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania,
Maybe.
Have Reigns in his corner.
Maybe. If he's healthy enough to do it.
But moment.
I think it's going to be all Seth Rollins going forward.
Which is a tough gamble because, like we're talking about tonight, it's difficult for him to get the crowd on his side. It's like, this is the guy you want to invest in.
Yeah.
He hasn't been showing many returns.
His match tonight was the worst match on the card, but... they have a lot invested in Seth Rollins. They want to do big things with him. I don't see it. I learned something about Seth Rollins recently that I cannot talk about, but it's very shocking stuff. Maybe one day I'll talk about it. You got to stay tuned to Wrestling Uncensored. I'll find a way to tiptoe around it.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be tough.
Specific language.
Yeah, I don't want to insult anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to get into kind of slander or anything.
It's a ring rat story. I'm just going to say that. It's a ring rat story about Seth Rollins. Yeah. I'm putting it out there. It's pretty good, but I can't really talk about it. Sorry, guys. Seth. We know about you, boy. But it's going to be all Seth from here on in. It's going to be all Seth Rollins.
It's the Seth Rollins show.
Yeah, good luck with that. Boy, I miss Kevin Owens.
Oh, and Sami Zayn.
I take freaking Bryan Nobs over these guys right now, brother.
I'm sure Hogan's pulling for Bryan Nobs to get a big
Hogan's like, brother, we need Nobs back. Nobs will right the ship, brother.
Yeah, Brutus Beefcake.
Put Nobs in charge of your developmental. He knows how to train wrestlers. When I had my Hulk Hogan Remember that show he had, Hogan, where he was like training training celebrities to be wrestlers?
Like on VH1?
Yeah, and like Dennis Rodman won the show, but he had like experience. He had teamed with Hogan in the past. It was really unfair. It was like a celebrity pro wrestling show, and their head trainer, was Nasty Boy Bryan Nobs.
Hogan's crony.
What was that show called? Probably like Celebrity Wrestling
Challenge.
Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Wrestling Challenge or something.
It was during the Hogan Knows Best time.
Yeah. It was when Hogan was trying to become the reality TV show mogul that Kris Jenner is today. Dean Ambrose winning the Intercontinental title, and Asuka beating Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to become the SmackDown Women's Champion in the match of the night.
Good card.
JC wants to know what happened to KO. He had double knee surgery, so he's rehabbing an injury right now, and maybe back in time for Mania, but most likely not. Probably after Mania. If we're lucky, we'll see him the Monday after Mania. If we're lucky. Sami Zayn, too, is hurt and nursing an injury. I think he's more likely to come back before Mania. Like, I could see Sami come back in the Rumble, because he's been gone longer, and I feel like maybe he's almost comeback season ready, you know? But Kevin Owens, I think, is going to be gone for a little bit longer, because he hasn't been out for that long. It was supposed to be like 4 to 8 months. Sami maybe will be back by Mania, but maybe not. Maybe we don't see Kevin and Sami until they're both ready to come back at the same time, even.
I saw a picture of Sami. He was doing an improv show in Montreal recently. He's been doing that a lot. And he didn't have his arm in a sling, which he did over the summer.
Oh, so maybe Sami's nearly ready to come back. Fingers crossed, he'll be in the Royal Rumble.
Miss you, Sami.
We would love to see Sami Zayn back on Raw. They need Sami Zayn. They need Kevin Owens. But unfortunately, they're injured. You know, they need Roman Reigns, but unfortunately, he's ill and he can't be there. So Raw is hurting right now, and that's why Vince McMahon is going to show up tomorrow night to try and shake things up, damn it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get Tori Wilson and Sable, and they're going to make out. It's going to be great TV. Can we do that?
Vince for a PG show.
Damn it. Okay. I got no ideas. Okay, we're going to have Drake Maverick, and he's going to piss himself.
We already did that, Vince.
Somebody's going to have no balls. And I'm going to challenge them. Yeah, Dawn Marie, too. Thanks, Rob. Dawn Marie. All right, I got to end this show and go think about Dawn Marie. Good night, everybody. No, I'm not going to end it like that. Testicular fortitude. JC bringing that up. I love it. All right, any final comments? We're going to wrap this show up. We've been going on way too long. It's like almost an hour into this TLC post show. I think you got a metro to catch. You know what I mean? We got things to do here. Us nasty boys, you know, we can't stay online forever. We got nasty things to do. That didn't sound right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't really have any nasty things to do.
No, we got nothing nasty to do.
No.
I'm going to play some Red Dead Redemption as soon as this show's over. That's my plan.
Yeah, probably me too.
Yeah, we're both going to play Red Dead Redemption.
That's right, partner.
That's our plan. That's right, partner.
You better... Right there, boy.
You all right, boy? You better mosey along before I shoot your fucking head off.
What'd you say, you coward?
Hey, hang on there a minute.
We just got to get to Tahiti. You got to have faith.
Tahiti?
You got to have faith.
I don't know that. Have you beat the game yet?
Not yet.
Oh. He's further along than I am. He tells me things and I'm like, what? And then he shows me things he showed me how to work Deadeye. I didn't know how to work Deadeye properly on the game. And he's like, yeah, you gotta, I was like, oh, it's the R stick. Oh, and I can switch this is great. Now I murder everybody in the game. I'm way better at murder in Red Dead Redemption because of this man showing me all the tricks, how to use Deadeye properly, how to replenish my Deadeye with cocaine gum and so on.
Chewing tobacco.
Chewing tobacco.
You gotta have that chewing
tobacco.
tobacco.
Gotta chew that tobacco.
Mm-hmm. It's very important.
Phenomenal.
I just want to play Red Dead now, so we should play.
Yeah, now we're gonna go play Red Dead. Yeah. Deletion of the Undead says Oscar De La Hoya versus Dana White WrestleMania. I don't think so. How about Conor McGregor as the general manager of Raw? How dope would that be? He'd be great. Wally says has a good brother right there, teaching me how to get away with murder. Definitely. He's also taught me how to get away with those murders, which is nice.
Not in real life.
End of the year best show, Franco says. I think, was this the best pay-per-view of 2018 for WWE? Was this better than WrestleMania? I don't know. It was one of the better shows they've done in 2018. Johnny North and I will probably do a year-end recap, and we'll try and figure out, who the best wrestlers were in 2018, the best matches, and the best pay-per-views.
Also the worst. Can't forget the
worst.
Also
the worst, right?
Everyone loves the worst.
Antoinette says Conor McGregor at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch. Maybe, maybe not. I doubt it. I don't think WWE is willing to shell out that much money.
Also, he might start a fight, in the crowd or something. It might go crazy. If he just stand there at ringside, some fan would be like jaw-jacking him, and he'll just like throwing punches at him, and then everything just goes crazy. And
you don't want
stop the match at WrestleMania. Or
McGregor's
something.
Unpredictable.
Security goes nuts, and he starts punching the security, and then his boys come, and it's a Habib situation or something. You never know.
Just keep Dylan Danis out of the way, right? Antoinette giving a shout out to Johnny North, our champion. I want to give a shout out to Johnny North, my main man. He won the NWA British Commonwealth Heavyweight Championship today. Yeah. Congratulations to Johnny North, my man.
Big man.
It's championship season.
That's right.
And he's going to bring the belt to the next episode of Dave and Johnny Live. So the next time you see me on YouTube, I'll be with Johnny North, the new NWA British Commonwealth Heavyweight Champion. And he'll probably have the belt. We're going to pose with the belt, take pictures and everything. It's going to be awesome. Johnny won the belt today. We've been talking about this match for a long time. AJ DeLesio was in attendance, giving me live reports on the whole thing. Very exciting stuff. Congratulations to Johnny North. You are an inspiration. I know you're watching this show, Johnny. We love you. And we're so happy to see you victorious with this big title. You deserve it. You're the man. You're a great wrestler, and we couldn't be happier for you, man. We're all very, very excited. The whole Wrestling Uncensored universe rallies behind Johnny North. He's our guy.
If I may, you deserve it. You deserve it. Oh, I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
Rob wants to know when AJ After Dark is. I think they had one. I don't think they did one last night, but they did one last week. Where's AJ? Hey, where's AJ? Where's AJ? I don't know. Do we want to know? Probably not. Probably not.
He's a nasty boy.
He is a nasty boy. All right, everybody. I'll be back. When will I be back?
Friday for Dave and Johnny Live.
Friday for Dave and Johnny Live. You know what else is going to happen this week? There's going to be a new episode of What's Fandom in Japan. It's a monthly podcast that we do. It'll come out this week, the December edition of What's Fandom in Japan. We will recap the World Tag League. We'll recap the Road to Wrestle Kingdom event that just happened on the weekend. And we will also preview Wrestle Kingdom, the WrestleMania of New Japan coming up January 4th, Wrestle Kingdom. We're going to do our full preview on this month's edition of What's Fandom in Japan. So go to WrestlingUncensored.net, go to RingsideReport.net, go to iTunes and search for the Ringside Report podcast and subscribe. Subscribe right here to our YouTube channel. We need those subscriptions to help us do more shows for you like this. So subscribe on YouTube and you'll get that episode of What's Fandom in Japan when it drops. And then I'll be back again on YouTube Live to see you all on Friday afternoon around 12:30 with Johnny North for Dave and Johnny Live. Then Friday night for Ringside Report Radio with Fred and AJ. And then back with Johnny to talk professional wrestling on Saturday for Wrestling Uncensored. That's the full docket this week. And that's what it is. So stay tuned to RingsideReport.net, WrestlingUncensored.net, and this space right here, this YouTube channel. Is where it all goes down.
No flipping.
No flipping. All right, well, thanks everybody for checking in. Thanks to Rob and Antoinette and Wally, the OGs of the Wrestling Uncensored universe. You know, Rob, Antoinette, and Wally, like I've met you. I haven't met everybody in the Wrestling Uncensored universe, but I've met you. We're all friends. You are all OGs in the universe. JC, my man, good night to you. Franco, Nardillo, Franco316. So many people from the universe. Lawazi, Masane, shout out to you. Shout out to Deletion of the Undead. Man, so many people were checking in tonight. JJ Mondesi, my main man. So many people. So many people. AJ, Johnny North, Freddie, everybody. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. It's been great. It's been great chatting you during TLC as well. And thanks to my baby bro.
Always a pleasure.
Baby bro stepping in to do the show with me here tonight. Doing a hell of a job, brother. Come here, let me give you a real chop. Let me give you a real stiff ski. Yeah,
woo.
yeah.
I have to say woo.
He's been taking those his whole life, and he'll take them till he dies. Or I die. You know, whoever comes first.
Probably be me first.
It'll probably be me first. I'm older.
But I live fast.
He does live fast. Wild man over here. Wild man. All right, so thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoy the Simon Boys Wrestling Experience. I think that's the name of our new show. The Simon Boys Wrestling Experience.
All right, here we go.
Here it is. It's over, though. So,
hope you enjoyed.
Ooh, yeah, to you all. Bam.